G'day, it's me again. It's been a while since my last video. Be honest. Did you miss me? Even a little bit? You can be honest here, it's okay. It's been a while since my last video. It's mostly because I really didn't have much to talk about. I was going to make a video on Five Nights at Freddy's, but then all the other sheeple have made their videos on it and why they hated it. I thought it was fine. It wasn't great, it wasn't terrible. Not the point of the video. Today I want to talk about Marvel's Spider-Man 2 for the PS5. And why I really didn't love it. Don't get me wrong, I did like it. It's a decent game, but it also just didn't hit anywhere near as hard as the first game did. And I think part of that is just because the first game is a really extremely hard act to follow.
You are everything I wanted to be!
Take off your mask. I want to see my nephew.
Like, it really is the best piece of Spider-Man media that we've had since, Spider-Man 2? I still think this new game is better than whatever the fuck's happening in Zeb Wells' Spider-Man. What the fuck? So basically what I'm trying to say is this game had impossibly big shoes to fill. There was a lot going on in that first game, and there's even more going on in the second game. There's what seems like more villains, but I think it's the same amount. I think they're just handled a lot worse. And for some reason, it just doesn't work as well as I thought it would, or as well as it could and should. Small wood words would be good there. For one thing, the pacing is all over the place. Like 1 minute you'll be like Spider-Man struggling with the symbiote. And then you're swimming around with Miles Morales helping some like museum regather their instruments. And I do like that. I think that's a great story for Miles. I think that would have been better as a side story and not like kind of his main thing, because he really doesn't have any agency in the story apart from with Mr. Negative. There's also one mission where you play as Miles, but you're just as a little, one of those little like spider bots. I hate that shit. That's so boring. It's so lame. So first off, I have to say the web swinging in this game and the combat is really damn good. They somehow perfected web swinging again, and the web wings added in is just, especially when you compare it to the first game's swinging. It's like a night and day comparison of the first game is like really slow. I've seen like TikToks of it where it's yeah, there's a clip here I bet right now. I bet it looks really cool if I can find one. I don't know how they did it, but they really improved upon perfection with the web swinging. So now for something negative, they did bring back the MJ missions, and in my opinion they made them worse. They certainly weren't good in the first game, but here they're somehow even more uninteresting and boring to me, because every enemy that MJ comes across, she can just one tap with her little taser gun, and that's especially when it takes Spider-Man like 3 hits to kill normal enemies. Not kill, but knock them out. I find it pretty irritating that MJ just comes up and just bzzzt, and they're gone, you know? Even the big enemies, like the big hulking, the big guys, I don't know, whatever. She takes them down with just psst, one hit, and then with Spider-Man, you're constantly fighting them and getting hit down and parrying, and it's just frustrating to see that she just psst. It is kind of ridiculous, but I guess it's just a troll for people's very real criticisms of the MJ missions in the first game. And there's definitely a way you can do that. This was not it. I'm sorry. I find this really irritating, and not because she's a woman, okay? Fuck off. I do hate women though. I'm also not a fan of Peter's mechanical spider legs things. I do prefer Spider-Man to be a more grounded hero, which is silly saying that because he's literally a Spider-Man. He swings webs and climbs walls and stuff, but you know what I mean with that, yeah? He's like more of a grounded story person. I don't know, whatever. I do like, that being said, I do like Miles' powers a lot. I think the electric powers are a lot of fun, and I think they just needed something for Peter. And they were like, well, give him some spider legs, that'll do him. And then later on when he gets the symbiote, it just changes to symbiote colours, obviously. And I think that's pretty lame, to be honest. One thing that I did think was odd was the bases in this game. You know how they had the bases in the first game, the Kingpin layers or whatever the fuck? In this you have Kraven layers, and they suck. They're really boring to go through. And if you want 100% the game, you have to go through all of them, which I did, and they were really boring. But the last thing about it is you get to see the chameleon in the last one, which, hey, that's fun, that's cool. Doesn't change the fact that they were boring the whole way through. Stealth is not needed at all. I don't think they included stealth in this game. There's no need to do stealth in this game at all. It's really compared to the first game where you would benefit from stealth, you don't in this game. You can just bash cunts constantly and you'll win. That's it. I also had a lot of bugs in my playthrough. A lot of couple of crashes, but mostly just like there's one mission Miles just got stuck when it was they do those shitty tutorial prompts where it's like press L1 and X for special move, and you have to press it in that moment. I hate that shit. And it just froze on it, and I couldn't play the game for like 3 days until there was an update. So that was pretty frustrating for me. There are a fair few villains in this game, and I think Kraven was done by far the best. I know some people say that he wasn't shown enough in the game, and that he wasn't scary enough, and I really do disagree. I think he was shown just enough, for me, at least. I find that when you see a villain all the time in a media, in a show or a game, it really lessens their impact when you see them again. And I thought Kraven in this game was actually very threatening from the beginning, even though we don't see him constantly. I think it helps to build it up in a way. Like the original Star Wars movie built up Darth Vader. He has like 5 minutes of screen time in that first movie. And you actually, as Spider-Man, find one of his bases where you find out that he killed the Scorpion and you see him do it. And I think that really added to it for me as well. And I don't like they're killing so many villains in this one. But it's one of those things of it works for Kraven's character. So I'm pretty okay with it. It's not like I need to see those characters again in another game. You know, the Sinister Six is back again. And I think a good thing to find in those Kraven bases would have been footage of him killing the villains, because by the end of the game, he's basically killed the Sinister Six. You know, he kills Scorpion, Vulture, Rhino, Shocker. And it's like, we only ever see him kill the Scorpion. I think you get to the end of a base, you find a little video, you just see him, like, even if he just stabs them, just something, you know? The bases for me were very unfulfilling. They almost felt like an afterthought, like Venom. I'll get to that in a minute. I also thought Sandman was like a cool villain in this too, because he hasn't been a villain for a long time now, and he's and Kraven hunting him has like set him off, because he wants to protect his daughter and that. And then at the end of the game, or at the end of collecting all of his collectibles, because yeah, there's just Ubisoft collectibles at these games now, he basically just snaps out of it. He was done really well in this game. I think that's really all I have to say about Sandman. I hope we don't see him again. I think I don't want to see him as a villain. I don't need to see any more of him. He lives happily ever after with his daughter. It's fine. So, while we're on the subject of Spider-Man 3 villains, let's talk about Venom a bit. So Venom in this game, if you didn't know, is Harry Osborn. Which, hey, good choice. That would have been better for Spider-Man 3 as well, if they had done Harry Osborn gets a symbiote instead of Eddie Brock, who was just no one. I'm glad it's not Eddie Brock in this game, because those recent movies stunk. They fucking suck. I hate those movies.
Jump. Pussy.
There's also, for a brief moment in this game, he's Agent Venom, which is such an odd choice. They also try to fit Scream in, which doesn't really work for me. But I want to talk about Venom now. So, he looks cool. I like the design. Tony Todd's great. I think he has like 2 voice lines in the whole game. He doesn't speak much. He says, gonna heal the planet, and then,
Spider-Man.
And that's about it. But I did really like the friendship that Peter and Harry had, despite we didn't really see much of it. There's that horrible carnival scene, which sucks ass and is really boring to play through. It does kind of help to build him up a bit. I find it odd that Peter couldn't pick up the roller coaster in that one scene, and then Agent Venom has to like swoop in and save him. I was like, that's weird. Spider-Man's weak as fuck in this game. What? Why did that happen? It's just one of those things. Spider-Man's supposed to be like the strongest Marvel hero, and that he does this shit like this, and it's like, well, is he? But yeah, they have a very believable friendship. And it's not very often in media you see two male friends like say they love each other, which I thought was nice. I guess it's just like, oh, hey, I'm not gay, man. Don't say you love me, bro. Don't say that in public, man. I'm not gay, bro. Don't say that, man. What are you doing, bro? I did, after all this Venom slander, I really liked the way that he killed Kraven, because Kraven got what he wanted in the end. You know, I think it sealed out Kraven's story nice. And I think it should have just left into a third game, because the last act of the game is really repetitive and really boring. The last act of the game is really repetitive and boring. There's just symbioteness you have to go through, and then you do a big boss fight with Venom, which is just also in like a football field. It's like Ultimate Spider-Man all over again. It's a really lame boss fight too. I don't like it. It's really, you see this image of like the Spider-Man fighting Venom in the city, and it's like, oh, that's going to be like at the end of the game, you're going to fight Venom like in the city streets. No, it's like on a raised platform away from the city, so no civilians are harmed.
That it's really lame.
Okay, I think I should talk about the elephant in the room. I hate people keep comparing MJ in this game to one of the writers, because I really don't see it. I don't think she looks that much like the character. Maybe I'm just dumb and blind, but I don't see it. Do you? The entire internet is just turning on this poor girl for nothing, because she maybe kinda slightly looks like a video game character, which is lame. But getting on that, I do hate that they keep changing the face models for people in these games. I actually didn't recognize MJ in this game compared to the first game, or Peter for that matter. It's really annoying. I do think it's just a thing now. We just have to live with it. They've made the decision. They're not going to go back on it, you know. It's fine. Also, Peter in this game goes through the symbiote arc in like 3 days. It's like a rapid fire. Just suddenly it's on him, suddenly it's off. There's really not enough time to see him like ruining his friendships and ruining his own life like that, because that's what the symbiote arc is supposed to be about. It's really crazy. You should see him like be affected by it way longer, instead of one scene where he's wearing a black shirt and yells at his friends once, then he's like, oh no, am I the bad guy? And honestly, I think it would have been a lot cooler to see Miles get the symbiote. It would have given him a lot more agency in the story, for one thing. And for another thing, it's not something that we've really ever seen, even in comics, because he always comes after the first Spider-Man. He never gets the symbiote, which is no fun. I think that's a real missed opportunity in every form of media, quite frankly. And you know, I did like the Miles missions. He helps his community and the school, but it really never amounts to much. You get like a cool suit at the end of the school missions. Yeah. You get a cool suit at the end of the museum missions as well, and it's like, well, is that all this is? I'm just building my suit gallery? Yeah, basically. Mr. Negative is also in this game, and I actually liked his contribution to the story, because he's got some friction with Miles, you know? Because he killed his dad. And that part of the game is pretty well done. I like their dynamic together, and Miles not necessarily forgiving him, but understanding, I suppose. Also, I hated the Mr. Negative dream sequences, because Miles goes through both of them. Peter doesn't go through any of them. Miles goes through both of them. One of them is to save Peter at the end of the game. You see him like crying over Aunt May's grave, or like her dead body from the first game. And it's like, yeah, you're not gaining any sympathy points here, video game. I already played that one, man. I've seen how that ended. I know. I don't need to see it again. As a whole, I like most of the characters. Genki and Miles' friendship is actually pretty well done. I like them in a comparison to the Spider-Verse movies, which are great on every other reason except for their friendship. I think It was well done in this game, basically. And the Miles Morales game. And the Spider-Man game before that, because they were in that one as well. I also almost completely forgot while I was writing this video that the Lizard is in this game. Doc Connors is in this game. I liked him a lot. Just going through his house and seeing that his family's left him is actually really sad. Like, there's one side of the sink that's like used and there's toothbrushes and shit everywhere, and the other side is just clear because there's no one else living with him at the time. It's actually sad. That's really good. Bro really can't catch a break though. Also, just one thing before I leave this video. We really got fucked over with suits in this game. Miles gets all the good ones, and Peter gets like 3 good ones. If you're being generous, the rest of them suck. Whoever designed these suits should be fucking fired. The best suit is still the Bodega Cat suit. You can argue with the wall. That's the one, okay? That's Miles' suit as far as I'm concerned. That shit they gave us at the end of the game, it's just an Adidas ad. Go fuck yourself. Peter's anti-venom suit sucks too. I think that looks like garbage. I hate they force those suits on you too. You have to use them in certain moments. It sucks. I just want to use the classic suits because they look the best. But anyway, yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 is just okay. It better not win Game of the Year. As I'm filming this, the Game of the Year titles have just been announced. And I think it's going to be a fight between Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. I don't want to say, if Spider-Man 2 wins, that shit is fucking rigged. It better not win nothing, man. I think I'd be excited to see DLC from this game. Not really, actually. No, because the last DLC was pretty average. Don't do DLC. Just cook the third game for a bit longer, please. Make sure your thoughts are in order when you're making the game this time, please. Just make it the best it can be. Because this game wasn't the best it could be. 7 out of 10. See ya.